Well, welcome to Wines We Love, and long-time followers of BinTwo will know this has been a regular feature on our newsletters. Every month we give free rein to somebody in the shop and say, pick a wine that you love, and then we feature it for our wine club members and open it up and let people taste it. But we're trying a slightly different approach here. We're doing it on camera, which is obviously the first thing. And the second difference is we have asked Dee this month to pick a short list of 3 wines that Kate and I are going to pop open together and pick what we think is our favourite and see if it matches up with the one that Dee made her final choice about. And along the way, we'll try and include a couple of little snippets about how you taste wine, what we're looking for, and give you a few tips and pointers. So bear with us, it's fresh to us too. So, how do we go about finding our wines? I get asked this loads by customers who come in the shop. It is a long and arduous process of tasting and retasting, which is sometimes harder than that sounds. So there's nothing on the shelves at BinTwo that we've not tasted ourselves, that we've not discussed, that we've not tried and tested. And then periodically what we'll do is we'll just pop some of the wines open that we've not tasted in a while, check they're still okay, remind ourselves about them, and certainly when there's a change in vintage, we will pop open the wine again and just make sure that it is still as we would wish it to be for your benefit. So Kate is ably popping open some wines here. We've got 3 wines that we're going to taste. We've got a Spanish Passion de Bilbao. We've got a really weird and wonderful mix from Australia called the Mixed Thing, with a really interesting range of grapes in there. And then we've got a classic Côte d'Aron. All of them are around the £10 price mark. All of them sort of medium-bodied red, so really good basis of comparison. So I'm going to ask Kate just to say a little bit about how we taste wines and what we're looking for when we do it. So, Kate, over to you.
Thank you, Mike. So when we taste the wine in BinTwo, we tend to use big wine glasses, the red wine glasses, where you can get a lot of movement and the aroma molecules in the wine can move around. It just makes it a better experience, we find. First of all, when we taste the wine, we're looking at 3 different things. We're looking at the appearance of the wine, we then go on to smell the wine, and then we taste the wine. So, let's...
Which one should we start with? Should we start with the Côte d'Aron?
Yeah, why not?
There you go, Kate. So take us through it.
So when you're looking at the appearance of the wine, first of all, you're holding the glass up to the light. You decide whether it's clear or unclear or hazy. When a wine is hazy, it could mean that there's a fault, or it could be that it's an unfiltered wine, so some of the sediment might have moved around in the glass. So you also look at the colour. If there's a browny tinge, sometimes this means there's a fault with the wine as well, but if it's an old wine, occasionally they look a bit browner in colour. This wine is a lovely ruby red and it's clear.
Lovely job.
Okay, so then we go on to smell the wine. As Mike's doing very well there.
Ably demonstrating.
You swirl the wine in the glass. The reason for this is to get the aroma molecules in the glass moving around, and so we get a better sense of smell, and the wine opens up. So sometimes when we smell the wine, you might smell something a little bit fusty, or a lack of fruit, or almost a damp cardboardy smell. This can mean that there's a problem with the wine, and it's something to keep an eye on. It could be to do with cork taint or oxidation, which I'm sure Mike will tell you more about.
And it's worth hanging on that point. So when you go to a restaurant, when you come to BinTwo, and we pour a little splash of wine for you, what we're asking you to do really is just check you're happy that the wine isn't faulty. We're not at that point interested in whether you like the wine, although we hope you do. It's really looking to see if the wine is faulty. And as Kate said, if a wine's corked, you'll know it straight away. What does corked wine mean? It means when cork being a natural product, microorganisms like to eat it, and about 5 to 10% of corks that are used carry these microorganisms, and they produce a compound called TCA, a chemical compound, and that reacts with the wine and instantly will spoil the wine. And you'll know it straight away when you smell the wine, because it'll smell like your gym bag. It will smell like your teenage son's bedroom. It'll be really fusty and damp and horrid. So it would be unmistakable. So you should have absolute confidence in pointing out to wine waiter in the finest restaurant, or even to lonely low lives like us in our place, you should have absolute confidence in pointing out, I don't think that's right. If you're unsure about the nose, you won't be, but if you're unsure about the nose, as Kate has said, as soon as you taste the wine, you'll see that it's really flat, it's lost all of its fruit, and just hasn't got any sort of vibrancy. So never hesitate to point it out. Any wine merchant worth their salt will replace the bottle for you. Any restaurant worth their salt will replace the bottle without argument. No one should be arguing with you about whether a wine is corked or not. So what do we reckon to this then?
So when you smell the wine, first of all, is it clean or unclean? So the nose is clean. And then think about what flavours, aromas you get on the nose. What you get in, Mike?
Well, I mean, really kind of pronounced fruits, and it's really nice. It's very typical for the region, isn't it? Nice sort of soft, supple tannins, I think. So, tannins being those things that make the teeth go a bit furry, which doesn't sound very good, but you know what I mean. So it's got a nice kind of dry edge to us. Those tannins are softened and rounded nicely. It's a wine I think that would do nicely with a bit of food, but you don't necessarily need a bit of food. So I'm going to say I like it. Do you like it? Do you like it, Kate?
So when you're tasting the wine, you need to make sure you move the wine around your mouth. I do like it. To reach all the parts of your mouth and all the different sensory areas, because at the back of your tongue you have an area which senses the bitter flavours, and then the sour on the edge of the tongue, sweetness on the tip of the tongue, salt in the middle, and tannin around your gums. So that's why you swirl the wine.
So we move on to the mixed thing.
Yeah, let's go.
So the mixed thing, this is a really unusual blend, all sorts of stuff in here, which I guess is why it's called the mixed thing. We've got, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grapes in here. We've got Grenache, Cinsault, Cabernet Franc, Sauvignon, which is one I'm not familiar with, Petit Verdot, and Sangiovese. So a real heavy blend.
So the mixing comes from Barossa Valley, so southern Australia, and its name, Magpie Estate, comes up. It's named after the superstition for saluting magpies and the luck which is apparently associated with that. So winemaker, Barossa winemaker and English wine merchant who got together to make this company and brand obviously believe in magpies and luck.
And I think the fruit on the nose there is fantastic. It's really, really pronounced.
Yeah.
You know straight away from the nose what you're going to get. So really bright red fruits, cherries, plums, red currant. It's really, really, really vibrant.
Yeah, really curranty. Quite a bit of spice as well. It's really fresh. I don't think there's been any oak used.
Yeah, and again, really, really juicy in the mouth. So wines, when they kind of get your mouth watering, that's down to the acidity in the wine. And a wine that's got really nice balanced acidity will just have you kind of mouth watering at the sides of your tongues, and this wine certainly does that. I think the spice is really coming through on the palate, isn't it?
And it's medium bodied, it's not too full, so it's quite a nice wine. You could have that with charcuterie or a barbecue, or you could even chill it if you wanted.
I reckon you're right. I reckon this would be a really, really good summer wine. I think you're absolutely bang on. Some reds respond really well to chilling. It just lifts the vibrancy of the fruit. Other wines doesn't like it at all. But this one, I reckon, that would do really, really nicely, and could serve equally well as a nice warming autumnal red, or as you say, something a wee bit summery as well. So really, really versatile and cracking value, I think. So this one was £10.50. The Code Rome. This one is £10. I'm going to do your stick thing, Kate. So if you listen to it. No, she's not right. There we go. So pour that away. So, goes on to the Passion de Bobal.
So Passion de Bobal comes from southeast Spain, from Valencia, from a place called Utiel Requena, which is vineyards which are high up on a plateau in Valencia. Conditions there are very extreme, really hot summers, really cold winters. And it means that this wine has been made in an organic way, because there's very little disease that can take hold in the area. See what we think.
And I think from my recollection, this one uses old vines as well, doesn't it?
Right,
so with old vines, why does that matter? Old vines typically produce fewer fruits, but because they're producing fewer fruits, there's greater intensity of flavour in those fruits. So generally, old vines is a bit of a marker of quality, and the colour on this is fantastic. Straight away, really, you probably can't see it from there, but a really deep red, almost a kind of purplish hue. So expecting good things from this already. Yeah, it's really, really lovely and dark and rich on the nose as well. So really kind of dark, jammy, jammy notes on the nose. So really, really nice.
It's quite a lot of vanilla as well.
Yeah.
Which from the new oak, which has been used
yeah.
for aging.
So we won't drag it out. I've got a previous blog where I talk about the effects of oak. But yeah, so one of the effects is it imparts those kind of vanilla flavours and vanilla tones. Oh yeah, and again that's very rich, isn't it? Very
yeah.
And
again, black fruits, really spicy.
Yeah.
Incredibly soft. The tannins are really soft.
Yeah, very, very soft. And again, I think a wine that would drink well on its own, good with a bit of food. It's got enough about it to stand up to food. It won't get lost if you wanted to have that with a dish with red meat. But equally, that's a really nice fireside warmer, and it's got a really, really long finish. Of all the wines we've tried, both lovely. This has got the longest finish. What do we mean by finish? It's the way the flavour keeps developing on your palate. So after you've taken a sip, how quickly does that flavour last once you swallow the wine? Does it dissipate quickly? Does it linger? Or, as in the case with this one, does the flavour actually continue to develop long after you swallow the wine? And I reckon good 30 seconds after I swallowed that, I'm still getting flavours to develop.
So, and incredible value as well, I think.
Well, as are all of our wines, Kate. But yes, no, this one again, £10.50, so all in the same sort of price range. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we're coming to decision time.
Decisions. We do have one other wine actually.
Do we have one more?
It'll be.
Shall we? Just for laughs. Just for laughs.
So this is Bobal as well. So same grape variety as Passion de Bobal.
Yeah, the more I drink this, I mean, I'm not wishing to show any sort of bias where my choice might be going. The more I think that's just really, really versatile. I think it's a real crowd pleaser. I think it'd be a really hard wine not to like. But it's not too obvious either. It's got some complexity in there. It's got enough to interest a wine lover. For people who love Spanish reds but are stuck in a bit of a rut with maybe always going for a Rioja, this would be a nice way of stretching out a wine that's not going to disappoint you, but maybe break you out of any habits that you've got just by going to the same region. And it looks pretty, doesn't it? Right. So
previously, this grape variety was mostly used in blends, so it's actually nice that Valencia are producing really quality wines from this single variety.
So this is another Bobal, isn't it? So it'd be interesting to see how these two compare. And this is the Bobal de San Juan, isn't it? This is £9.50, I think.
Yeah.
Again, lovely. Much lighter, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's peppery. It's really peppery.
I think it's really interesting, actually, for us. Probably definitely dull for you by now. Really interesting, actually, how two wines produced from the same region, both using the same grape, 100% Bobal, very, very different, very different wines. This one I find lighter, much fresher. I think this is definitely a summertime red.
Absolutely, yeah.
I am drinking this thinking of paellas.
Yeah.
I think, you slap me down if I'm wrong here, Kate, I think you could even match that to kind of robust fish, like, shellfish, like barbecued lobster, something like that. So really nice summer middleweight party red, I reckon.
Yeah, it's completely different to the Passion. It's really light and really peppery, quite spicy.
And again, it just confirms why sometimes it's good to have variety in grapes of the same region, the same grape, but very, very different outcomes. You would recommend those for very different things, I think. Which still, and again, great length of finish. Length of finish.
But quite surprisingly, the alcohol content in both of these is the same. And initially, I would have said this was much higher alcohol level, but it's not. They're both 13.5%.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Which brings us back still to decision point. So do you like them all?
I like them
I hope the
all.
answer is yes. I hope the answer is yes, because we're all on the channel. So I think,
like to sell them all.
Yeah, so the verdict is I think they all keep a place on the shelf,
Yeah.
which is good. They're all still tasting great.
Yeah.
But which one do you love, Kate? Which do you love?
I love the Passion de Bourbon.
Do you
It's
love
that
it?
time of year. I
Do you love it?
What
You
about
do
you?
love it. I love it as well.
Yeah.
I think moving into the autumn, this is it. This is definitely the one. This is your autumnal red. This is your hearty beef stew red. I think it's fair to say we all have a passion for it. So yes, that's it. I think that's going to be this week's Wines with Love. We're going to get Sean's off camera laughing at my appalling gags. We're going to get Dee to write up a few notes about this, and she's marked the bottom. This is the one also that Dee had picked out as her wines that she loved for the month as well. So we are nothing if not consistent. Thanks ever so much. Hope you've enjoyed it. Drop a comment onto the Facebook feed. Let us know what you think, and we will see you this time next month. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.